Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Reading the Red. This a rather lovely morning. Not so hot yet, but I think it's going to be a wonderful scorcher today. Luke chapter 10 and verse 12. I say to you, it will be more tolerable on that day for Sodom than for that city. So, having pointed out a city that has rejected the kingdom message, Jesus says to the disciples that when you come across that kind of city, I'm going to tell you something, and you need to know it, that it's going to be more tolerable on that day than for that city, than Sodom. And Sodom, it went down in history as being the city, as is Gomorrah, when God delivered the people into death and judgment through the variation of disasters that came upon the city. But basically, he wiped the city out and the people all died except a few that escaped. And so he says it's going to be more tolerable for that city, Sodom, the one that went down in history as the judged city. So he says those who reject the kingdom message, the cities, the people, the individuals who reject the kingdom message, it's going to be more tolerable on the judgment day. He says that day, and that day always meant the day of judgment, the day of reckoning. We live in a time when people don't think that there's going to be a day of reckoning, but there is. One day God is going to say, today's is the last day of the dispensation of grace, because tomorrow we begin a judgment. And when that day comes, and there's often messages in scripture which reveal the judgment day, that day, the day of tribulation, the day when God brings recompense to all those who have experienced inappropriate behavior. And so he says on that day, it's going to be more tolerable for Sodom. So Sodom is going to have a less harsh judgment laid upon them than the city or the individual that rejects the message of the gospel that you're seeking to bring them with regards to God's salvation plan. So if we reject God's salvation plan, then it's going to be more tolerable for the judged city than it will be for us as an individual or for a city that rejects God. So this is a depredation statement that Jesus is making in regards to the implications of rejecting the kingdom message. Not a good thing to, as it were, be mindful of. But perhaps the disciples needed to know that when they were ostracized and rejected, that the people were rejecting the message and not them. Many Christians feel they're rejected when they share the gospel. And they are in one sense, but really what they're rejecting is the message of truth that will bring on freedom. Brothers and sisters, don't stop sharing the message just because you think people are rejecting you. Because Jesus says, no, they rejected me before they rejected you. Thank you for joining me. Be blessed. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.